What's going on, folk? Another video, as always, every week, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, in this video, I'm going to work on my wife's 350Z drift car, and I'm also going to work on my R32, and you're going to want to stick around for the R32 because you're going to hear how amazing my R25 sounds. And if you haven't heard, you go and hear it, little baby. All right? Second, the merch, as always, in the description, blood-thirsty.co. Boom. And you already know. You know what I'm saying? So watch the intro, check some shit out.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?
Yeah, life is like a motherfucking dream. Fill my double cup up with some leans. Yeah, put my dick in your bitch please. Yeah, rats come. FaceTime, we still talking codes. I think the feds on every iPhone. No more polo t-shirts, put that shit on every day from now on. Switching up my image, no more picture with my styrofoam. Why the fuck I keep buying these houses if I'm never home? I'm with gang, they never wrong. Supermodels, I'm stepping on them. Search for my weapon on me. Buy 3-4 bags in one time. Treat the condo like a trap house. Other spot a baby compound. Bad bitches get to run around. Bro, track star, you run shit down. I made this shit happen with 1 pound. I told bro that one band, one sound. She like for the club, let's stay in. Now she gotta get new tape in. Pockets too big, they can never belittle me. Babe, I'm a hell of a nigga, man. Ain't with her arguing, what's your dilemma? How about Achilles, the real one? How you the hero, but stay with some feelings? I ain't gon' switch on my nigga. I run the game like I'm born with a ball. Yanking ain't corny at all. 5'9", but I ain't that small. Feel like I'm 7 feet tall. Bro ain't stop, he just on pause. He coming chill when I call him. FaceTime, we still talking codes. I think the feds on every iPhone. No more polo t-shirts, put that shit on every day from now on.
And millions of dollars walking in Prada, drinking out styrofoam. Gotta talking code when you on FaceTime like the feds on phone. Live a billionaire lifestyle, but I still get bricks to your door. Little one got the stick, ready to go blitz. Little one stay on go. Flatline the nigga one car. Pull the pounds up and you hard. Dodging the life, sitting this popping all this shit I talk. I done piped up another nigga, bitch, I'm too rich, my fault. I just alley hoop a hold of my dog, he just slam dunked up. Ballin' like Brian, but now starting feel like Messiah. Codeine drinking, but I swear the money get me higher. Just told the judge I'm on pills, my mansion got marble. Charge an M for a show, still a sell the bill till you tomorrow.
FaceTime, we still talking codes. I think the feds on every iPhone. No more polo t-shirts, put that shit on every day from now on. Everybody can fold, but I want. Everybody wanna don't. I make niggas follow and I lead. I make bitches come then I leave. Virgil made back, bitch so sweet. We just get them, ain't no beef. You can get her back, I can't keep her. We be getting that's our secret. Rappers wanna kick it, can't reach. You and 5 of y'all niggas can't see me. Really steady war, nigga can't beat me. Academic, know he ain't rich as me. Brody ready.
Alright, so for my wife's drift car, the whole idea of redoing the alignment on the car, if you don't know, is because the wheel caster on this side, or I should say the wheel length on this side, the wheel was back further. So every time she turned her wheel, it ended up biting into the fender and eating up the whole edge in here, eating the back side of the wheel well, all that kind of shit, which didn't allow the wheel to do complete rotations. And this is partially because we never knew this was an issue originally, but when we switched to a 245 tire, because it used to be a 225 tire in the front, the 225 tire overall height was smaller and the width was skinnier, so it cleared everything without any issues. Going to the 245/35 tire, car grips up way more better, way better, more gooder, whatever you want to call it, right? So we switched that front tire because the grip was a lot better for the chassis. Chassis's got a little bit of weight to it because, you know, still the factory Z doesn't weigh, you know, it's not slim like a 240, like an S13, you know what I'm saying, like an S chassis, right? So we had to match up the distance here so that way it'll clear not only this side but the other side. That was kind of a pain in the ass, and had to redo the alignment because we moved it. We did the lower control arm, moved the whole wheel forward with the lower control arm because it has Power by Max adjustable control arms on there. And then I had to redo the alignment. So I ended up doing the alignment here, centering the steering wheel, doing the steering rack and everything. Not steering rack, but getting it to be even. Now the toe's at 0. Everything's great. But something I always do anytime I'm like really going to chase after an alignment is I check lock to lock. I'll measure the steering rack lengths on the arms, you know what I'm saying? I'll undo the tie rods and go lock to lock, make sure it's the same rotations left to right, lock to lock, because if it's not, then your rack is off center, okay? So with that being said, this car was aligned previously before, and I asked those guys that did the alignment to do that, which they did not do that, as I found out after I did the alignment on this car. So what sucks is I had the car squared in a line, it's fucking great, and then I test drove it, and then the steering wheel to drive straight is crooked. And I'm just like, all right, well, I know what it takes. It's not crooked by a lot, but it's crooked by enough to where I go, okay, well, I have to fix that. So that way, if she wants to continue driving her car, it doesn't eat up all her tires just driving normal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you ever do an alignment on your car, always make sure your rack is centered first. Make sure your rear of your car is square, and then do your front alignment last. You know what I'm saying? But I was under the assumption the alignment was already done properly and how I asked them to do it, which it was not. So I was just adjusting the one side. I say, okay, well, if I adjust the one side because I'm changing a couple things, it should be exactly where it needs to be. We're in and out, and that's it. But that wasn't the case, unfortunately. What can you do? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back over the alignment one more time. Fiero. I'm gonna do the alignment one more time, do it again, which is really gonna suck. But I mean, it just gets the car a little bit better every time I do more and more work to it. The car starts acting better, performing better, working better for my girl. You know what I'm saying? So we'll probably do some rear suspension changes in the future. And to be real, I want to do whole front suspension change anyways, but we're not going to get into that yet. So I have to do minor things like got to do the pillars and shit like that. So yeah, next we're going to work on the R32, and that you're going to stick around and you're going to want to watch that shit. You feel me, little baby?
Next message.
Yo, I don't know where to start, dog, but check it out. Music is my total existence, dog, straight up. Everything in my life revolves around music. It's like, can't get a relationship because I'm still with my first love, which is music. You know what I'm saying? For real. The reason I'm here, J. Doe, just like that. Peace.
End of message. Resaved. Next message.
Yeah, it started with rhythms I heard listening to the wall. The bouncing of basketballs on playgrounds and all. The empty bottles is hollow, wind blowing inside them. The flow and the rhyming got my alignment to a science. Mixing with my mom's in the kitchen, them spoons rattling. Pots and pan, faucet water pouring, tunes managing to come from all the fussing and rambling. What I noticed was pure music untampered with by things showbiz does. Older thugs show the stuff, like how to hold the plugs. Juice from the street light, it almost could have blown us up. Crates of records, great sessions, had the whole hood jamming. Large speakers, fresh made, smell the wood sanding. Father did his blues smooth, legendary Jasmine. Saw his wife secondary to his true passion. Started with my crew rapping New Jackson 82. Never look back now, look what it changed me to. Music.
We gotta believe the future. We gotta believe the past. We gotta believe in more than all that we have. We gotta believe each other. We gotta open up our minds. Cause music is for life.
Next message.
What's the difference between me and you? Is I'm a real connoisseur of this rap shit. I really do it. My whole life, man, it's really music. Through my bass line, I'm living through it. Another expression of life I couldn't live without. I like my music straight pure, not watered down. Damn, it felt good to fulfill the dreams of getting out the hood. Kept me busy, gave me a chance to stop selling drugs. Spending time in the basement kept me from acting up. Zoning out, wishing Drake could check it out. I'm here now. I can't believe it, proof in the pudding. Everything happened for a reason. Through this music, I'm able to feed the family. When I'm stressed out, it's my sanity. It's a lifestyle, all on the street and in Hollywood. Music in my DNA, it's my livelihood. Music.
We gotta believe the children. We gotta believe in hope. We gotta believe in more than all that we know. So we gotta believe each other. We gotta open up our minds. Cause music is for life.
Next message.
Keep the music alive. The good and the strong survive. I close my eyes and imagine I was Jackson 5. Randy or Michael going through life cycle. Music allowed me to let life go. So vital to a youngster coming up amongst street hustlers. The big beat to touch us in such a special place, giving the ghetto a taste of what freedom is like. I reached the point in my life where I was needing a mic. No second guessing, self-expression and lessons learned. Aggression became sessions where sessions burn. Put my soul into it, now my feet is firm. In a game where a name is hard to earn, and hot cats' careers get scarred and burned through the years. Mine took a godly turn.
Children, we gotta believe in hope. So we gotta believe in more than all we know. So we gotta believe each other. We gotta open up our minds. Cause music is for life.
I bet you thought I left you hanging. Joe Crack returns banging with something brand spanking. What the fuck was y'all thinking? Blow out your tweeters, have dinner with world leaders. Terror squad, some unsavory cats with dark seasons. Fast cars and millimeters, go cards and visas. Giving unbelievers wings to fly with Jesus. Here's my thesis: enterprise, break the block to pieces. Hustler and hard, pull sharp like Jack Gleason. The only reason I came back was for the platinum. With raps 10 times more deadly than saccharin. MCs be acting, I think somebody needs to slap them. Run up on them.
who heads we with this man till we do the end. AKA Captain Sauce of who heads
I don't wanna put a stick out and bug out. Now she wanna put my dick out and fuck now. Flip my wrist like I'm a bitch now. That bust down, pull up in that 96 crown with the windows down. I don't wanna put a stick out and bug out. Now she wanna put my dick out and fuck now. Flip my wrist like I'm a bitch now. That bust down, pull up in that 96 crown with the windows down.
And drop my name. Fucked up bitch, I made a grave all over me. Took a little hit of speed, that's all I need. Come on out and then I leave, and then repeat, yeah.
living the way that I wanna when I was about to get. I tried to never bitch, I got a bitch full of spit. And now I'm doing it, I'm singing around and I'm getting lit. Busting out to rock this shit, on the block is stick giving shit. I'm a man, it's I don't wanna live anymore.
I don't wanna put a stick out and bug out. Now she wanna put my dick out and fuck now. Flip my wrist like I'm a bitch now. That bust down, pull up in that 96 crown with the windows down. I don't wanna put a stick out and bug out. Now she wanna put my dick out and fuck now. Flip my wrist like I'm a bitch now. That bust down, pull up in that 96 crown with the windows down. Back to back, I flood my wrist, I'm looking like a walking ocean. Pack the silver with bitches and money, I'm sitting on things like the oceans. I just been 500,000, flipped in and flew to the islands. Can't fuck with these rappers, I'm wildin'. Pumping the H in my face and I'm dying. Young baby bone up to something. Adrenaline pumping through my stomach. 44 Mac and I'm bustin'. I don't wanna have a discussion, still in it ducking. Phone calls while they be sucking my dick cause I been buzzing. And they be
straight dropped this thing earlier. Fucking hell. I'm not supposed to be dropping this. Okay, so, couple things. And I know in the video it probably doesn't translate that well. So, let's start with the first thing. Boom. All right, here we go. Come on, baby. So first things first. Power steering reservoir. Got my little cap on there, my little, see my little towel, my little hat going on here, you know what I'm saying? That is to catch any extra blow by, any extra pressure, any extra bullshit that pops out. That is what I have that for on here, right? And as you can see, the distance is mighty slim between my fan and my power steering pump. So again, if you watched my last video where I wanted to put that down lower and I couldn't find any of the companies that did that shit, well, we're here now, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, radiator before, right? I used to have my carbon fiber core support piece because I couldn't find this piece that I'd cut off years ago. Bang, cut that bitch off right though. So yeah, years ago I cut this off because I thought I was gonna be Mr. fucking drift professional pro-am driver. And I'm like, if I cut this out, I can get the engine in and out much easier, which is true. It'd be easier to get it in and out, but at the same time, if you gotta pull motors, you got fucking problems. So anyways, so yeah, the carbon fiber piece I used wasn't good enough only because it was held on by this and this, which are just hood pins, and the piece flexed way too much. So as you lifted up the chassis or you moved it around, it would twist and flex and it would pop out the tops of the radiator brackets on each side, allowing the radiator to flex more and more. Put a lot of work into adjusting this radiator to be down and have the top of it down and pulled more towards me. That way I can fit both fans. Otherwise, you'd put a fan on this side and this fan would go here as a pusher fan. So you'd have them, you know, alternating, whatever like that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted them both in one location, like where they're supposed to be. I'm gonna also build in the future a little tunnelway that just goes from the intercooler to the fan like this. Not like some big crazy shit, like little mini box ends. That way the air that comes in through here just goes straight through there. I'll talk about the fans in a second. So anyways, so I bled the power steering, did all that shit. And if you saw in the video, I fired the shit up. And then all of a sudden the wheel fucking started turning left. I don't know if you've ever seen the videos of the guys that have the power steering and you start the car and the wheel's going like this, or it goes like lock to lock and it's just fucking slamming left to right like fucking crazy. That is what happens when you switch your high pressure and your low pressure line. So when I fired up the car and the car started wanting to just fucking, the car yanked left so fucking hard I was fighting it from going left. I'm like, what the fuck? And then the car would shut off and die because I wasn't giving it any more gas. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is happening? And I did it again and again. I'm like 2 more times and I'm just like, okay, this symptom is like high pressure, low pressure line flipped. And I'm like, I remember specifically going back into a forum of some kind to make sure I didn't put high pressure and low pressure on the wrong side of the rack. So whatever forum or whatever page I read it on, they were fucking wrong because that's how I put it. And then going back into Chase Bays and like watching videos and looking at little subtleties, and I go, oh, I fucking flipped the 2 lines. I'm an idiot. That really fucking sucks. So if it's full, I was trying to bleed it. Now it's full of fluid, full of everything. I spent a lot of time bleeding it with the car off by just cutting the wheel lock to lock, allowing the air to separate and getting fluid into the steering rack and into the lines and like kind of filling itself up. So like huge pain in my fucking ass. So then I had to knock off both lines, let it drain some fluid enough, and then knock off the other line, flip them, put them back on, tighten them shits up. Boom, 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 boom. Bob's your uncle. You know what I'm saying? So now that I got that together, re-bled it, it's working. I do notice the power steering is really tight when I go further towards lock. Now that could be a combination of suspension, or it could be it needs to be bled more than likely it needs to be bled more. I have the correct amount of fluid in here. I'm going to double check it again, make sure nothing has taken up more fluid now that the car's been driven and everything like that. So definitely going to have to work on that a little bit more. So we'll see kind of how that goes. Now, enough of the power steering, little baby. Let's talk about the real deal, Holyfield. You already know how badass this fucking motor sounds. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you would have seen that this engine has 2 low compression cylinders. And I don't mean by a little bit, I mean by a shitload. So basically this is like a 4-cylinder with like 2 more cylinders like kind of helping, right? And it's kind of obvious whenever you watch me rev up the engine, and you'll see a lot of steam coming out of here. And that's because that's my valve cover catch can breather joint. So this guy right here gets a lot of coming out of it, you know what I mean? So you heard this thing, it sounded fantastic. It sounds sick as fuck. It rips. It's way more responsive than I expected. I am a little bit worried, only because I have 0 idea how much boost this thing is actually seeing. So for all I know, it's 30 pounds. It should only be 20 pounds, which is still a good amount of boost, but we know the head gasket's bad. I know I have 2 down cylinders, and man, this motherfucker sounds so good. Like I get so fucking pumped. You've seen the video. I know it might have been a little bit long. I'm driving it only in a neighborhood area because if I try to take it on like the actual street and I break down, that's a big fucking problem. Where if I break down in the neighborhood, I can just turn off the car and just cruising around the neighborhood, not a big deal. You know what I mean? Depends on the cops. In the video because of the camera angle, and I ended up cutting off the video there anyways, there's a spot in the video where I'm coming back to my house, and fucking like 8 houses down at an intersection, I fucking come across a cop, and I'm like, oh fuck. And like, yo, you see this coming down the street, no fenders, a hood, no bumper, 1 headlight, you see what I'm saying? Like, this shit's wild as shit. There's no bumper back here. There's no plate back here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just out here just like driving this fucking car. So I had to like make it look like really trying to get the car like move around and shit. You know, I had to act it up a little bit. But luckily, I think that the officer was more pressed for probably other things than worrying about this dumbass car, right? So yeah, a little bit of nerve-wracking on that. Not to mention I had just ripped it on the fucking road, as you saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was wild. But man, I gotta tell you, I'm so fucking pumped on this car. It's not even funny. Like, I don't get amped very much. Like, not a lot of shit gets me fucking pumped. But like, this car, where it's at, even though it's not done, that's fine. I don't, I can get that done, whatever. But where it's at right now, it's like 10 years straight hiatus. And at the end of year number 10, it got to be running. And I got to drive it around a little bit for a second. Quick little small burnout, which probably overheated the motor because I'm pretty sure there was like nothing in here. So like, it did that. And then like now, I got upgraded coil packs. I got modern coil packs, which is sick. I haven't finished that, but it's in there. It's working, obviously. The engine sounds a million times better than the old dead shit fucking coil packs, even though I had different ones and a new igniter and a new harness, and like the new harness helped, but like still didn't run that great. I cleaned all the plugs, put it back in there, put all this brand new ignition on here. Fucking fantastic. And the car never ran as good as it does now. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with brand new plugs and all that wild shit, the car didn't run as clean or as crisp as it does right now. It's a huge, huge, huge advantage. Now, if I had done that all brand new gangster, I think I would have spent like $1,100 or $1,200 on that whole ignition setup. So I opted for a cheaper option for the time being because, trying to save a little money. I still wasn't 100% convinced that the old coil packs were really an issue. Now I know they're an issue, so now I don't mind if I have to spend more money later. You know what I mean? There's no reason to spend that kind of money. Now I have to buy other things for the car still. Still tons of other work to do to the car. That works. I can see it works. It fucking rips. It sounds great. Boom. I need gauges. I bought gauges, right? The gauges I bought, to be honest, I don't like them. I'm going to probably put them in the S13. But for this car, I want the best for this car. I want badass shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a problem because badass shit costs badass prices. So it's like, I don't know. We got to figure some shit out. For sure, I need a boost gauge. I really want a Defi boost gauge or like an old school. I want to say like an old school JDM boost gauge, which I'm cool with those too. But like at the same time, kind of go back and forth with you know, do they still work? Do they light up? They're always usually really, really old, really, really crispy. I don't know, you know, whatever. So yeah. So anyways, not to get sidetracked, but even though I know the head gasket is bad, bleeding this is a pain in the ass. That's a pain in the ass. Doesn't quite fit. It's definitely not meant for this, but it is what it is, right? So upon my doing my pull, couple burn, I did a burnout in front of my house, this quick small one, because my pops came by and I lit it up for him so he could see what a badass motherfucker this shit is, you know what I'm saying? So upon my inspection, after putting everything away, I noticed this and I'm like, oh, that's a interesting color. And it's actually all over my shock tower, and it actually kind of got on my firewall and my brake booster, and some of it's here. And like, I'm like looking around and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this fucker right here hit I was doing the burnout, overpressured the fucking head gasket. Thing was a piece of shit. It pushed out of here. This thing, it shot out because it's on the hood too a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Well, upon inspection today, I gave it a quick one of those and I'm like, that feels like oil. And I'm like, huh, that is oil. So I'm looking around and I'm like, oh fuck, the dipstick tube must have popped out. Because I actually want to get one of those dipstick tube clamp holders, which I only found one in Japan, and it's like $110 to ship, which is crazy, and I ain't doing that shit. So I have an idea to make that work without doing that, but I also don't want to really do that because there's no room to do it in here. Anyways, so started looking into it more and more and more, and I'm like, man, it's weird, because I was getting confused because like it looked like it came from here and shot up and then splattered down based on like the directions. Because I'm like, oh yeah, the direction kind of goes this way and it's here, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm super confused. And then literally as I'm like checking this out and feeling it, it dawns on me. This little motherfucker right here, I'm pushing past this on boost and it's shooting out and it fucking just splattered everywhere. So I'm 90% sure that's my culprit. And considering that like my dipstick is dry, it's dry as fuck down at the bottom, it's only oily this way, and my fan's probably kicked on and just blew the rest of it that way. That's some wild shit. So hopefully that's the case. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But 2 low compression cylinders, I'm getting a ton of blow by, especially with more boost. That's kind of to be expected. If anything, I could route that line into, if anything, I could try to route this into here, but I really just need to block that off completely. Fuck that thing. I don't need that shit, you know, whatever. But 20 PSI is a lot, whatever. Anyways, cool thing too is I didn't know if my electric fans would work. I mean, I know I did the work correctly, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna have enough coolant in the system and have the system bled enough to work and figure out if my E-fans are gonna work. So as soon as things fired up, I'm like, holy shit, they actually work. That's awesome. And I couldn't figure out why my gauge cluster temperature gauge wouldn't work. So I'm literally talking to one of the homies in Australia, and let me have a seat. Oh shit, dog. Because I'm talking to him and I'm like, yeah, man, I don't understand. It makes no sense because, well, my temperature gauge wasn't working, just stayed dead on the floor. I'm like, well, maybe I don't have enough heat in the engine, but you already know in RB and turbo cars, they produce a ton of heat, right? And I'm like, yo, I've got to be in the range. There's no fucking way. Got 2 sensors in there. They're both stock. They're both OEM. And as I talk about it, I'm like, yeah, maybe it's like a ground or something, whatever. And then it dawns on me that those 2 sensors specifically, when they're on the intake manifold, are next to an OEM ground. And I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe. Let me just check that out. So I took the wire. Hold on, let me get back out of this thing. You already seen it, little babe. Hold on, little babe, hold on. You already seen it, but I'm gonna show you. So I took the wire and I wrapped it around this, wait, where the fuck is the thing? Oh yeah, there it is. And I wrapped it around the sensor and it let it touch the housing, all bare copper wire. And then I ran it to the ground where I ground, I don't know, everything. And that fucker works. So it's fantastic. However, my problem is the thermostat fan switch is a 180 degree fan switch. So just as the just as the bottom of the temperature gauge starts to show, the fans kick on. And then all of a sudden it drops under the gauge again. So it needs to be like a 190, like a 195 fan switch. So it allows the engine to be warmer because it needs to be warmer, not be that cold. And then they kick on, you know what I mean? I kept noticing they kick on a lot. And I know that like, there's no bumper on here, so it's getting like mad air and all that shit. It cools down right away, fantastic. I put my hand on it, feels great. They are super fucking loud, but that's part of having 4,000 CFM worth of fan. They seem to work really, really good. I'm like really excited about it. Like, I don't know, everything's working. Like I'm super pumped in this car right now. Like you have no idea, you know what I mean? So yeah, I appreciate, again, all of you that watch. I do have, if you watched the previous video, you know that I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes shit right now on making sure I have my house together because I bought a new house and I don't close until the next month. And like a whole bunch of bullshit. And with that, I'm making sure my cars are working enough so I can move them around and that kind of shit. And generally speaking, you seen I was doing the roof on this shit and I bailed because, yo, Dynamat does not come off like sound deadening, factory sound deadening does. So I just bailed on the roof because I have my original piece I took off of there. I'm gonna just put it back on. It doesn't fit for shit because I destroyed it taking it off. But I'm gonna throw a couple screws in it so it stays on there so there's something on the fucking roof for the time being. The roof panels I worked on, I'm gonna have to work on them at another time. That's not really a priority. Making sure I can drive the car under its own power. It moves, it doesn't have to be babied. Obviously I rip the shit out of it, but to get it to work and all that shit is very important, you know what I mean? The only car that I currently own that does not work is my green S13. So I may end up going for that car, which that car should run pretty easy. But I know I have to replace a lot of shit, and I'm really hoping to not replace things like the fuel lines, like the hard lines. Hopefully I don't have to replace those and shit. I'm trying to keep it all kind of like factory. I'm not trying to go wild like with the R32. I'm trying to keep like OEM shit on the S13 because it works good. I mean, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. I got a ton of shit going on. That's why, you know, I have all the body panels sitting around because I'm gonna have to pack those up. Not soon, but soon enough, you know what I mean? So still working the R32, gonna throw in some shit on the S13 because I have tons of parts for that, so I gotta put them on the car. I have to order a few more parts of the car that are cheaper, you know what I'm saying, whatever, get that car going. So stick around and watch more videos, check more shit out, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't gonna be doing nothing but this shit. And then 2025, that year, I'm telling you right now, I wanna drift this car. So stay tuned, little baby. You know what I'm saying? Look out for some shit. And always stay sucker free. Feel me?